welcome to Make in India, New Deal for Defence. This week we take a look at a relatively young company, but one that has effected a massive transformation. Over the last 10 years, Karnataka-based Aequs Aerospace has moved from being just a supplier of automotive components to one of the go-to aerospace structure manufacturers for giants like Airbus and Boeing. CNBC TV 18's Poornima Murali travelled to Karnataka's BELAGAVI district to get a first-hand look at the company's capabilities in the aerospace and defence sectors. This facility of Aequs Aerospace is not old. When Arvind Meligri co-founded this company in 1997, it was an engineering services company focused on the power generation space. It boasted annual revenues of $20 million and went by the name of Quest Global. And it might have continued in that vein if energy trading giant Enron had not collapsed in 2002. The collapse saw most of the company's contracts being cancelled and forced the founders to look at new areas.
I co-founded Quest with my partner Ajit Prabhu and as an engineering service provider initially to power generation. Later we went into aerospace and started working with customers like Airbus and various other tier ones. And that opened up a thought process of, hey, we're doing design work here. We asked customers, hey, can we do manufacturing to you? At that time, India was just opening up through the commercial offsets, had opened up the commercial aerospace sector for India, and we were one of a kind, setting manufacturing facility in India at that time. So, and in 2006, 2007, we reevaluated a whole strategy of how we should be able to take this opportunity, the way engineering services, we took this opportunity to scale, as similar to services model actually. So when we looked at it, we really needed to have a platform and ecosystem to do it.
This new platform and ecosystem became a reality a year later when the company entered into a joint venture with Magellan Aerospace to set up Aerospace Processing India. The initial contracts were centered around providing surface treatment for global players like Boeing and an order from Belgium-based aerospace company Sabca to manufacture metallic parts and assembly work for the Airbus 380 program. In 2009, backed by various successes and an expanding order book, the company began operations at an SEZ in Karnataka's Belagavi district, nearly 500 kilometers from Bengaluru.
I am at Aequs Aerospace Manufacturing Facility at Belagavi in Karnataka. Spread over 250 acres, this 10-year-old company makes precision components and aerospace assemblies for top tier 1 players and OEMs including Airbus, Boeing and UTAS.
Today, this is India's largest integrated aerospace facility, a facility that provides components for major aerospace players, a facility that has caught the attention of Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar.
I used to travel very often in car from Belgaum to Kolhapur, Karad, Pune area, and I had never seen any facility here about maybe 2009 also. Possibly it was just beginning at that time and I had not seen it. So when he told me such and showed me the photograph, sent me the photograph, I was wondering what exactly has gone, should I say it wrong or right? Right, I think things are going quite right for India altogether.
Airbus from our historical journey from Quest, where we are engineering services provider for them, and when we presented our idea of setting up manufacturing, and especially like a dedicated facility, they were open for that, but they were apprehensive about it. They let us do things and ask us to demonstrate what we can do on the floor and what we can deliver to them, whether we can meet the quality requirements, on-time performance. And over the years we have done that. Since 2009 we have started a journey with Airbus, and it was a very small order, right? It was just less than $500,000 order what we received. And today we are doing more than $10 million with Airbus.
Today, Aequs is one of Airbus's top suppliers, raking in over $12 million a year from the global giant alone. With Quest being rechristened Aequs in 2014, the two have now taken their relationship to the next level.
We just launched a new manufacturing facility dedicated for Airbus. It's going to take $75 million per year revenue. in next 5 years. So this kind of evolution is a very systematic, step-up process.
This factory is a manufacturing base for aerospace major Airbus. This plant has a capacity to house 150 machines and will generate 1,000 jobs over the next 5 years. The company will invest a total of about $50 million to manufacture several components for all the Airbus programs.
What this means is that every time an Airbus aircraft takes off, Aequs has had a role to play, and that is something Airbus is most comfortable with.
Arvind actually came to visit us about 10 years ago, it's nearly a decade, in Toulouse in France, and we were discussing about his vision, what his vision was, his entrepreneurial vision for setting up a special economic zone in aerospace. And at that time, as you know, we only had big players like HAL and others, and private sector companies were just coming in. Either they were coming in from automotive industry or they were coming in from IT industry on engineering front, but somebody really starting to say that I want to do something in machining and then want to grow a special economic zone. We had our own concerns about it and saying how can he pull it off, but there he is, he has done a great job in the last 10 years to make this happen. So that way the journey started 10 years ago. 2009 they started the facility, and then afterwards the metal cut, and now we have such a beautiful, as he said, which really goes towards the vision of what our Prime Minister wants in terms of Make in India, and this is definitely an aerospace Make in India example.
But Airbus is not alone in building fruitful long-term relationships with Aequs. The company's client list now boasts of names like Baker Hughes, Halliburton, Bosch, Danaher and UTAS.
UTAS has been in the country, which was as a Goodrich, back in since when our earliest guys back in 95, 96 they came into the country, and they established a manufacturing facility here, mostly to do the evacuation chutes, and later they started doing assembly facilities. They were looking for suppliers within India to supply the components, and we came and basically started asking them to use us, we'll be able to provide you. And we started with a simple one package of $1 million. Today we are supplying over $12 million today to UTAS. And to the recent acquisition we did in US, we just added UTAS as another customer in US also. So we are bringing an additional $5-6 million per year. If you really look at it, we have a dedicated facility for aerostructures, dedicated facility for aerosystems, because the capabilities are different.
Aequs also manufactures defense components for the HAL, Gas Turbine Research Establishment and the DRDO. The company currently manufactures over 250 components for the Light Combat Aircraft program. The company continues to bet big on the defense offsets which are opening up in the country.
Our journey with Indian defense predominantly started 2 years back, and our idea was, look, we believe the requirements of within Indian defense can be met with our spare capacity, tell you the truth, because we have 1 million hours of capacity. We can easily have 100,000, 200,000 hours available for India defense requirements right now. So we can support the defense requirement within that, because the requirements are not that huge. There may be a lot of different parts, but the volumes are low. So LCA has been a one focus area for us, and we will continue to support that program. And also another area has been GTRE, where we have been actively working with them to identify the forgings which they are currently sourcing globally, which can be done in our new facility Squad here, which is a joint venture with Aubin Duval, which is a French partner, and is one of the very well-known capability holder in the world on the forging side. So we are working with various DRDO labs, and also Hyderabad-based division of the DRDO. We are working with them. So we are cutting across various. So we are very young in India defense, but we believe we'll be pretty established fairly soon.
In aerospace, Aequs has also signed a joint venture with Setforge and Aubin Duval to set up a forging division at its Belagavi facility. This is India's largest hydraulic press dedicated to the aerospace and defense sectors and supports major OEMs by supplying them aerostructural parts, landing gear and brake system components.
This is a forging facility. The company had recently bagged an order from Gas Turbine Research Establishment to manufacture forgings for gas turbine engines. Once imported, these forgings will now be made in India.
For Aequs, diversification is not just a passing fancy. The company has ventured into the oil and gas vertical by signing a long-term agreement with one of the world's largest oil field services company, Baker Hughes, and even supplies IT precision engineering products. Aequs aims to end this financial year with revenues of $45 million. That's double the $22.5 million clocked last year when it turned profitable. Add to that the fact that it's bagged large orders from various Tier 1 companies. Aequs is now confident it can grow at a CAGR of 50% this year.
We are growing at a CAGR 50% plus currently, and last year we did about $22.5 million revenue, and this year we're doing actually $45 million revenue. This year growth has been much higher than historically. Aerospace has been an extremely good growth year for us this year. So, and we expect to grow in this fashion because the opportunity is so large. And globally, if you really look at it, aerospace manufacturing is about $100 billion opportunity. And today, India exports about $250 billion per year, which is, and I expect it to go to about $1 billion by 2020, which is still a 1% of global opportunity.
Apart from an order book of $250 million over a 5-year period, Aequs' optimism about the future also stems from the fact that it sees high visibility in overseas markets and expects a big boost from a twofold growth in exports in the coming years. Acquisitions will play a big role in this aggressive growth forecast. Aequs made its first acquisition this year by buying US-based TMK Machine for $10 million. This will help it make components and systems for companies like Spirit AeroSystems and Triumph Group, which supply large systems to global giants like Boeing.
Aequs also manufactures defense components for the HAL, Gas Turbine Research Establishment and the DRDO. The company currently manufactures over 250 components for the Light Combat Aircraft program. The company continues to bet big on the defense offsets which are opening up in the country.
Targets are clear. Aequs wants to become a $300 million company by 2020. A strong presence back home, a growing presence in the key North American and European markets, and an ever-expanding list of partnerships and acquisitions will give it a strong position that it needs in the global aerospace and defense sectors to achieve these targets. The company is aiming for a 5% market share in the machining segment, which it claims is its primary focus. But it also faces a myriad of challenges as it embarks on this journey. Challenges that range from a tough policy environment to troubles in financing to an often hostile tax regime. But more on all of that in just a bit, right here on Make in India, a New Deal for Defense.